Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta give a $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Made rapid progress with this great success. And over Guyanese Matrimony, the Republican free. Matrimony, big bed for you and me. Matrimony, it's really nice to see. Everybody rejoicing, celebrate their matrimony.
Chess, I can't even rest. No cost of living, everything doubling, this thing troubling. Tell me how I must carry on with a seemingly one arm. Tell me how I must survive with 6.5. Tell me how I must survive with 6.5. Every time I go to the market, everything skyrocket. Rice to beans to cheese to liver, then make me want shiver. Tell me how I must carry on with a seemingly one arm. Tell me how I must survive with 6.5. Please tell me how I must survive with 6.5. Survive with 6.5. Please tell me how
My name is Jacinti Kaldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Over to You again. And with me this evening is my guest and co-host, Miss Shoy Gibson. Shoy, a pleasant good afternoon, good evening to you.
Good evening to you too, Wayne. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Good. And this evening we will continue, on the strike action, with our teachers in Guyana. Do you want to take a first bite at this, where, what you're seeing right now? Give us an analysis.
As a parent, and as a parent that sat on school councils, I stand in solidarity with the teachers. It is saddening that it's 10 days and up to now, they can't come to the bargaining table and come with a resolution to get the teachers back in the classroom with the kids and come to some sort of solution. Why should our most important people of the country live in poverty? That's our educators. If it wasn't for our educators, we won't have ministers, we won't have attorneys, we won't have doctors, we won't have us hosts to host a show. These educators are everything to everybody. They make everybody, believe it or not, they make entrepreneurs. Why are these people living under the barrel? Why? Why should these people have to be in the sun, the sweltering sun, outside demanding to be paid fairly, economically, properly, so they can sustain what they love to do? And that is to educate the future of the country. Does that make any sense?
Well, it doesn't appear to make too much sense to the PPPC because, they are all over the place on this, and it doesn't seem as if they intend to pay our teachers. But before I even dive deeper into this, I just want to once again say a pleasant good afternoon to the people in Guyana and also to the people all around the Caribbean and in the diaspora. Please, guys, go ahead and like the program and share the link. We're going to have a great discussion. Tonight's program is a call-in program. You can see the number right there below, 347-228-7115. You can call in and let us know, and give us your take on what you're seeing occurring in Guyana with the strike action by the teacher. Because, Shoy, and you spoke so eloquently on this strike action by the teachers, but it's having a real trickle up and trickle down effect because it's affecting the taxi drivers who traverse back and forth taking students to and from school. It's affecting parents, some of whom would have young children who cannot stay at home by themselves. So it either forces the parents to stay at home or to get a babysitter, which is an extra cost that most Guyanese don't have. So this is having and it's having a massive effect also on the local economy.
It would, because we must remember, I don't care which part of the world you live, childcare is very expensive. Childcare is not a cheap luxury. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity, because we're living in an era. One check does not make it anymore. It's a 2 and a 3 income home these days, and a lot of homes are not 2 and 3 incomes. A lot of homes are 1 income that sustains 2 checks. And if I don't do it, we can't make it. And unfortunately, we do have some proprietors that are not understanding to single mothers, to single parents, because we have fathers too who are single. And it's a hard call to make. Do I go to work, or what happens to my child? You can't leave a 6-year-old child in a home for almost 9 hours of the day. You can't do that. That's absolutely crazy. But if I don't go to work, I don't get paid for that day being home caring for my child. So that day's pay now, there goes either the credit to my phone, there goes towards GPL, there goes towards maybe my life insurance premium I pay every month. You just lost a day's pay for something that could have been covered, because you have to stay home with your child, because there's no one there in the school. There's no teacher, there's no sir, there's no ma'am there to take care of the child, to oversee the child while you're at work. At this time, we have to stand resolute. We have to stand in solidarity with the teachers, because they're under deplorable working conditions. Look at the school where a child has to stand up. In order to retain an education, a child is standing up, sheltering himself from the rain. How do you do that? A teacher is standing up in her classroom with an umbrella over her head, sheltering the water, trying to teach her students. A majority of the students have an umbrella. How do you do that?
Shoy, that's a very good point. The teachers are working under some deplorable conditions. Also, it's not just about the wages only, but the conditions in which they are working under. But at something that a lot of people forget when we look at teachers is that, first of all, they're human beings. Secondly, they are parents with responsibilities just like everyone else. And then after that, we talk about them being teachers and their careers. And listen, they have their own children, many of them. They have to deal with their children, and then they have to go and deal with our children. So that's like a double whammy. So I think this government, is forgetting. Well, I wouldn't even use the word forgetting. They don't care. They don't care, because had this government cared, they would have came to the table and they would have negotiated with the union, not the teachers. We are not in the business of having government forego the union. The union is in place to protect and to represent our teachers.
Well, I can say this loosely.
Yeah.
I can say this loosely, and I'm in upper management, and I tell my staff all the time, and I'm in upper management. Do not work without union representation. I say that very clearly across the screen. I don't care where you are. You do not work anywhere without union representation. To work without union representation, you are open prey. You're looking at the minor picture. What you would say to me is the minor picture. The minor picture is the money. Money is not everything. When you do not have job security, as they say, cat and rat eat your dinner. Pay into your union dues. If it wasn't for that teachers' union, those teachers cannot stand up as strong as they're standing for the 10 days they are standing. So that nonsense that they're spewing, and I would say it again, that nonsense that they are spewing is utter nonsense. No union, no organization cannot be ran and not have a yearly audit. You must be audited. You get a union, an organization, and when you know that, because you are a CPA, gets audited faster than a Fortune 500 company. So if the Guyana Union was not following the criterias and the bylaws and the laws, they would have been shut down a long time ago.
Well, you know,
So-
Shoy, it's interesting that you make this point, because Barajagio would have said that the union did not have their financials in order, and that was not true. The union,
that's what-
the GTU does have their financials in order. What has happened is that they are missing some filings, which is not a big deal. We're talking about the union here. Filings is not a big deal. And Barry Jagdeo should not have been talking about the union and their financials. That's not what we're dealing with. We are dealing with the teachers being on strike. We are dealing with our teachers demanding higher wages, better working conditions. That's the
And
topic
we
of the day. We're not
That's
talking
right.
about the union and the union financials. Because look, we can look at this a couple of ways here. And he said over the last 20 years. Okay, over the last 20 years, the coalition would have only been in power for 5 of those 20 years. The other 50
The coalition, let's be correct. Let's be correct. The coalition only had 3.5 years
right,
because
we
of
had to
Sharon
take
Dawes
care- right.
and the no confidence motion.
Correct. All right. I agree with you on that, Shoy. But the PPPC had 15 years, 15 of those 20 years. And they're complaining, about the GTU. No, this is not about the GTU. You shouldn't blame the install regime should not be blaming this on the GTU. Listen, if the teachers are not satisfied with their wages and their working conditions, they pay union dues. It is the mandate of the union to go out there and represent those teachers, go to the table for them. But Shoy, what the government is trying to do here, they are trying to, like they said, they want to stop doing the $700 withholding for union dues to the teachers. That's a low blow. This government is just so low, and they'll go as low as possible.
But you see, what the beauty about this to me is with this strike, more and more every day you get to see everybody for who they really are. And it opens one's eye. As the teachers are saying, this is not political. Unfortunately, everything is political. But for the teachers, it's not political because they're right. The teachers are not throwing out who they're politically supporting. And they're correct. Because that's not what the teachers are there for. The teachers are there for, they need higher wages. They want proper working facilities. They want functioning amenities. They want to be in functioning buildings. They want to have functioning toiletries, not toilets that's not laboratories that's not working. They want to be able to know they're in a comfortable environment where they're not being attacked by children, by students. They want to know that their work environment is an environment where they can come in and they can succeed by teaching their children. Okay, because I hear to all what these teachers are saying every day. And these teachers are not saying students, and they're not saying scholars. They're saying their children. Okay, these people, these teachers want to go back in these classrooms to their children. They want to go and educate their children. Okay, and it is paining them that every day they have to get up with a placard and go and stand up in front of the so-called Minister of Education's office and screaming out about higher wages and better working conditions. Now, why should these teachers? Okay, first of all, what's irritating me? They're claiming that we're an oil-rich country. If we're an oil-rich country, our teachers shouldn't have no problems. Our teachers shouldn't not be on strike. Our teachers should be A1 taken care of. Okay? I should not have to hear a sir come on live saying that he has to have another business in order to make it when the month comes, to provide for himself and his wife. I shouldn't have to hear that. Okay? But at the end, the love of his job to serve these children. Okay? And the other business that he has, it's not an ongoing thing, because not every day people get married. Not every day somebody has a sweet 16 that he has to take out pictures. But he has another side gig. What time does this man have for his family? What time does this man have to sit down and plan his education plan for the next week to go in there and teach these children? What time does this man have to grade his papers? And you want to open your mouth and say this is an oil producing country? Come on.
So, Shoy, I want to touch on this quick comment here that I see from Mr. Colin Barnwell. He said the president disrespect the union by hand selecting certain teachers to negotiate, by bypassing the established representatives of the teachers. And this is exactly, Mr. Barnwell, thank you for that comment. This is exactly what the PPPC is trying to do. They're trying to dismiss the union and try to negotiate directly. But listen, no, Shoy, this is a problem. When you're negotiating with a group, it's a group of people with one accord. When you are negotiating with teachers from an individual perspective, everybody's going to come with a different perspective. So in essence, what are you doing? And then it also gives the PPPC an opportunity when certain teachers ask for what they're due to tell them, hey, look, we don't want you anymore. We are going to replace you. You understand me? It leaves everything in the hands of the government. So when teachers graduate and all these type of things, they would have to go through the government, be selected by the government, make sure that they are voting PPPC in order to get a teaching job or to be a part of the teaching fraternity. And that is what we don't want in Guyana. That is why it is imperative that we continue to support all the unions across Guyana and keep them in place. But Troy, I want to touch on one thing that occurred on Thursday during Barrett Jack Dio's press conference. Now, we are not in a COVID situation. Why should students be working remotely? Working remotely because the PPPC does not want to pay our teachers who deserve every bit.
First of all, I think he was talking out of his. When you go remote, aren't those same teachers who's on the picket line, won't they have to go remote in order to teach that class?
Well, Shoy, not exactly, because what he can do, they can use fewer teachers and have those teachers pushing out all this work, but it's going to be a lot of pressure. It's going to be a lot of pressure on those to look at all this work.
Secondly, does he remember when they went into alleged power, August 2, 2020, he took down all of the internet hubs that Cathy Hughes put up? And how many children in Guyana have iPads, Kindles, or phones to even talk? There's still a lot of children that does not have access. So where do they?
Sure, you know what you just bring me back to? You just bring me back to the one computer for a household project.
And that went and how fast did they stop doing that?
It failed. It failed like everything else that the PPPC is involved in. They are a complete failure to the people of Guyana. And here they can't pay our teachers. Here they are failing the people of Guyana, failing our teachers. Look, teachers
My thing is simple. You're playing government. My thing is simple. You're playing government. Do what is under the umbrella of government. When you are playing government, the four most important things are part of government: education, economics, health, foreign policy. It is time for the so-called Minister of Education stop playing her kindergarten foolish games and get to the bargaining table with the union and give the teachers what they deservedly are earned. They need a 60 to 80% pay raise under proper amenities and conditions, and start fixing those schools. Start fixing those schools. Upgrade those classrooms. Why in the year of 2024 you still have those inferior benches and so-called desks where these children can hurt themselves? And then when you open your mouth, you want to say, this is an oil-producing country. And this is little Dubai. Dubai don't pay their teachers that. The children in Dubai don't go to school under those deplorable conditions.
You know, Shoy, and you make a very good point there. Across the Caribbean, Guyana has the highest GDP.
Yes, and the teachers are the lowest paid teachers.
This is shameful. And
do you know the teachers? Do you know the teachers? Do you know the teachers? Do you know the teachers get paid $5,000 a month? 5,000. The teachers in Turks and Caicos get paid
5,000 US a month.
In Turks and Caicos.
1 million Guyana dollars.
Barbados, $1,200 a month.
Priya Mani Chan sit there You know,
No.
an attorney by trade. I don't know how good an attorney she is, but I would have heard that she's an attorney by trade. She's a part of the legal.
Listen,
But,
you know,
I must say, she is very, very immature. She should have been looking to draw to table with the union, and this should have been done a long time ago. There was a short protest action at Banks DIH, and they quickly got out, and took care of those workers. And that
do
is
you
what
remember?
has been done for our teachers. Listen, teachers have a very, very massive responsibility. They are
When?
responsible for
Do
molding.
you remember? Do you remember 2018 when they called the teachers out to strike, and Coretta McDonald went out and strike with them? Do you remember when Priya called all the teachers out of the classroom to come out and strike?
In 2018, yes, I recall the 2018 strike. Barrett Jagdeo, everybody, they took it to Parliament. They were speaking, and look, the 2018 strike, the PPP grabbed that strike, and it was made political, whether they like it or not. The PPPC, took that strike and make it political. They were all out there with the teachers. Now they're looking at this current strike and saying that, oh, it's political. No, listen, there is a chance that this strike can become political, because as a political leader and as an MP, if you see teachers are striking for 3-4 weeks, you have to get involved. You cannot just stand
You
up.
know what? You know what I saw this week? You know what I saw this week? I saw Glenn Lal. I saw Hamilton Green and his wife and her secretary out there. I saw prominent people come out there and stand in solidarity with the teachers. If it wasn't for these teachers, we cannot say we are who we are. If it wasn't for a professor of mine, I would not be the woman who I am today. I remember I was about to graduate, and my professor came to me and she said to me, "Listen, Shoy, you gotta come back." And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not." She's like, "Yes, you do, because what you're graduating with is great, but you're gonna be super. You need to get your degree in medical management." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yes." And my other professor backed it up. And before I could even say yes, he already had a letter of recommendation for a school for me. So your educators, they know, they make you. So what in God's green earth is the problem for you to come and sit down and listen to what these teachers are asking for? These teachers are asking to be able to live. These teachers are asking to be able to make it from month to month. What I would like the so-called president and the so-called minister of education. March 1st is coming up, and I would like them to follow one of the teachers who has a family, and let them see how they spend that paycheck. And let ask themselves if they can live on that paycheck they're giving those teachers to live on.
Shoy, I want to make one point here, because the PPPC is threatening to dismiss and fire head teachers.
That's been since day one.
Also, they are threatening to cut
to slash their paychecks.
Teachers' salaries. This did not occur in 2018. And I say this so that the Guyanese people can get an understanding. of the two governments they would have had over the last, let's say, 8 years, 8.5 years. These two governments that the Guyanese people would have had in the last 8.5 years is quite the contrast. There is one government that is a government that was for the people, that protected their people, that cared about their people, that tried their best without money. I have to give them that much. And then you have a government that is now in place that has all the oil money flowing their way, and the government is very, very dictatorial in nature. The 10-day workers are treated like slaves. If a minister or some dignitary of the government is coming up in the area, those 10-day workers have to be out there to kind of bulk up the crowd and let the crowd look good. This is not right. These type of practices is not correct. And the Guyanese people have got to look at these things. They have got to make a note of these things. You understand me? So when they go to vote, these things are still in their memory. You can't get amnesia.
Well, Wayne, this is what you have to ask the Guyanese people. Are they registering it? You and I speaking upon it, you and I bringing it to awareness. Are they aware? Are they wary? Are they had enough? You and I speaking upon it and you and I bringing it to the forefront is one thing. Are these individuals are aware? Are these individuals are saying enough is enough? Are these individuals are saying, well, it's time for me to look somewhere else? Is it time for me to start looking at the bigger picture? Is this how I want to continue? The real question is, I would say to anybody before you vote, ask yourself, is this the way I want to continue to live? That's the question. Is this the way you want to continue to live? Before we had oil, how were we surviving? This country is rich without that oil.
Wait.
We have so many other things other than the oil.
I don't want to get off of the topic of the teachers and the strike, but when you say before oil, well, if you look at before oil, take out the 5 years that the coalition was there, and look at
not
the years.
Not five.
Right, but
not 5, 3.5.
Right, although they were there and we had the no confidence motion, they were still in place as to take care of government, but they couldn't do anything. We know this.
No, they couldn't.
We know this. But let's go to the years before that. Now, when you look at those years before the coalition would have took power,
yes,
the Chinese, the economy in Guyana was propped up by corruption and drugs.
Mm-hmm.
That is what made up the economy in Guyana. Corruption and drugs, because when the coalition took power and they weed out all that stuff, and you guys and the people in Guyana start seeing the economy naked, less corruption, less drugs. People was talking, oh, there's not proper cash flow, money is not moving through the country. How is money going to move through the country? When it's drugs and all these things that was moving the money through the country?
Because the country was inflated. The country was inflated. The country never built up its own economy because it was always so inflated.
It was not a real economy.
No, it wasn't. No. I'm just saddened because at the end of the day, it's the children suffering. But I stand in solidarity with my teachers, and I stand in resolute with my teachers. And all I would say is the Minister of Education is a wicked individual, because it didn't have to get to this. She could have called the union way before, and they could have started to come to some type of negotiations. And It didn't have to get to this, but this is what they wanted. And be careful what you ask for. That's what I would tell people. Be careful what you ask for. Stop pushing people. And that's what I find with this administration. They like to push and push. Stop pushing people. Stop.
But sure, you say this administration. It's an install regime. Yes, it is an install.
Well,
but what happens with this install regime, right? You see, when you have a government, right? You wanna get input and insights from everyone. But this regime, everything comes from Barry Jagdeo. And one man could never possess the knowledge to run an entire country by himself. Look, Barry Jagdeo is speaking. Look, no, sure. Barry Jagdeo is speaking on the teachers. Barry Jagdeo is speaking on GCOM. Barry Jagdeo is speaking on finance. Barry Jagdeo is speaking on everything. How can you have one man who is not even smart speaking on everything?
But Wayne, this is my question. Who stops him?
Well, you see, Shoy, that's where the people of Guyana has got to step up and understand that it is people's power and that they have a say. Listen, Barry Jagdeo is merely a public servant. Why do people try to make these guys more than they are?
But this is a question.
Listen, they are in a position of servitude that they should be serving the people. But instead of that, these people take these governmental positions, these portfolios, and make them into business ventures where they are just making money and getting rich. And this has got to really stop.
Well, it's clear. It's clear. It's very clear. It's about the almighty dollar, as we see about 2 weeks ago what took place in the National Assembly. It's about the almighty dollar. Who stops them? I said this before on the panel the other day, and I don't think people are listening. Before you go to that ballot box and cast your ballot, know who you're casting your ballot for. Nobody can't make you do what you don't want to do. Because when you go to that ballot box, it's you and the ballot. Okay? It's you and the ballot. You have to be comfortable with who you're saying in that ballot you want to represent you. And what the people in Guyana, for me, have to learn, the politicians don't make you. You make the politicians. Because if you don't go and cast your ballot, there will be no politicians. So if you don't go and vote, there can't be a president. If you don't go and vote, there can't be a prime minister. So whoever you put in that seat, they work for you. And if they're not serving you the way that they are supposed to serve you, you are supposed to put the fire under their foot.
Correct. I
do not. Shoy D. Gibson, do not waste my vote on no one who's not going to serve me properly.
Well, Shoy, how do you figure out who is going to serve you properly from who is not going to serve you properly?
First thing what Guyana needs to do, other than these rallies, they need to have debates with the two parties before these people go to the ballot boxes.
Shoy, no. Your point is excellent. That is an excellent point, because then you have two people who are going to bring the issues to the table, and they're going to
Exactly.
discuss the issues, and the voters are there watching, and they would know who they want to vote for. But listen, I tell you this, there is no way that the PPPC is going to come to the table to debate.
Well, they don't need to be in government. Well, they don't need to be in government.
Joy, why would one come to the table to debate when over the past 3.5 years they would have failed and created such atrocities, committed such atrocities against the Guyanese people? Why would I come to the table to debate? I have nothing to debate. The people have already seen my body of work and the nonsense that I would have done.
Okay, and it's time for the people to start saying, can I continue living like this? That's the only person who can change it, Wayne. Me and you can have these programs from now to, as we grandmother would say, don't know when.
Sure.
It is up to the people to say, I had enough of this, living like this.
Ms. Gibson, I want to touch on this comment here by Miss Persina Mackenzie Mickle. She said that wouldn't work. The voting is about race. Well, you know something?
Well, that's sad, because you know what? We're living in a new era.
I agree, we're living in 21st century. I agree with that, Shoy. But let's look at the PPPC and how they garner votes. You remember the last 2020 elections, what they said?
Mm-hmm.
They said that the soldiers, the police, and the black people are going to come and kick down your door, rape your daughters, rape your wives. Have anybody gotten raped yet?
No.
You know?
That was purposely done. That was a political tactic, so to sway the voters in their favor. We have to learn the tricks. The Guyanese people have to learn the tricks. Listen to me. We have to learn the tricks. You got to learn the tricks.
Well, Shoy. The trick, all right? Because we are currently facing a strike action by our teachers.
Yes.
Who is the strike action affecting? All 6 ethnic groups, whether we like it or not.
All six ethnicity. All 6.
This strike action, Shoy, is an issue, right? That is affecting all Guyana.
Yes.
I want to say this to all 6 ethnic groups across Guyana. When we go to the ballot box, when we go to vote, this is what we should be voting to. Issues. And all the issues that would have been put forth thus far in the last 3.5 years, the PPPC would have failed the people of Guyana. No, you don't want to pay our teachers. You talking about remote learning for our students? Really? Really? You don't, parents are struggling with internet bills, internet connection. You act like if you got this big time Wi-Fi that you could find out in Europe and in the United States and Canada and all these places. Guyana is still, although we are the fastest growing economy and all this stuff,
we're still
growing GDP and all of that, we are still considered a third world country. And your facility, PPPC in Guyana, is still third world. People that get blacked every day for hours upon hours. Guyana is still a third world country. Don't get but remote learning. We need our teachers paid. We need them in school, and we need them to be looking after their children, because like our teachers would have said, the children belong to them. And I agree. I have always said that teachers are either the second or the third parent of these children.
Yes.
They feed them, they do whatever is required. How can you lock out such people? How can you lock them out with your lopsided budget? How can you?
You call it a lopsided budget?
We got a caller. We have a caller, Shoy. Good afternoon and welcome to Over to You.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
I would like to touch on this virtual learning that our VP is planning to implement. Now, I just spoke to a parent who is complaining to me about this same virtual teaching. Now I would like to know who will be the persons teaching these children. Guyana does not have the capacity to implement such a thing, because the parent even said to me she sometimes could just barely afford to put on 2 weeks data, and then she has to share that with her children on their tablet. So I just wish somebody could make it make sense to me as to how this will really work. Because during the COVID season, this was a big fail. Even persons, I listened to the news, CNN News, and CNN was even reporting that it was a big fail in America. So I don't know if the next caller could make this make sense to me, because I can't really understand that. Another thing, the teachers, I support the teachers. I stand with the teachers. I was out there with them for 9 days. I heard they cry. I even get to learn about the system of the union. And if they go back into the classroom now, I am sorry for them. I am sorry for them. So I want to encourage parents, because I have not seen much parents out there. I am encouraging parents to go out and support your teachers. Unless you don't care and you want your child to remain at home, well, there's nothing I can do about it, or anybody. But parents need to come out and stand up and support their teachers. Or else, as far as what I'm seeing, the VP wants this whole nation to be uneducated so that he can peddle his narrative, and there's nothing you can do because you ain't got no education.
Right, caller, it's always easy. It is always easy to control an uneducated nation. It's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
But you can continue.
Okay. And you know what the caller said is right, and I think that's his whole point. That's an excellent point, because when I heard that statement, that's the first thing I came to, that's what he wants. He wants it where it's going to fail, where he has an illiterate country, because without the teachers, the children can't learn. And he knows there's no way. There's no internet hubs. The laptop of family program failed miserably. You understand? So how is this going to convey that these teachers and the teachers are not going to come on to teach the kids because they're on strike? And she's right, because look, we had a snow day. We had a snow day last week, and some kids took 45 minutes to get on remotely here in New York City.
Right, and listen, we're talking about much better facilities in New York City.
Yes.
And it took 45 minutes, much less somewhere like Guyana. Some people ain't gonna get on. And sure, let's think about blackout. Let's think about power outages. When that VP in his press conference talk about remote learning, he should have contacted GPL before he talk about that.
The same power outage. The same country, the power outage is up to like 14 hours a day. Really? Come on.
And they brought in all these transformers and generators and all these things.
Listen to me.
Sorry, I want to touch on something quickly. I just saw a comment from from my good friend, Mr. Tony Hack, where,
Mhm.
you know, he's basically saying he's fed up. He's sick. He's tired. February 22nd, big bacchanal, big party. February 24th, big bacchanal, big party. You understand me? What's up with our teachers? We don't need a party in Guyana. We need a
Do you know?
in Guyana.
I'm going to back that statement. Do you know a reggae artist was banned, allegedly banned out of the country? Do you know that reggae artist is coming back into the country?
Why not though, Shoy? Sorry, you laugh, but you laugh, but I beg to ask you the question. Why not? You're dealing with the most lawless government in the Western Hemisphere. Why can't he come back in? Anybody can come.
Ignorance.
Anybody can come.
The ignorance. So this is what you're opening our children to, and you don't want to pay our teachers who are saving our children from this ignorance.
You know, throwing the parties and listen. You know, Shoy, the people.
Don't. I mean, if we have something to celebrate, I'm all for it, but we don't have nothing to celebrate. Right now, we have a major problem.
Correct.
Education is on a standstill. Education is. I grew up in a house. My grandmother always told me education is the key. I have an aunt. My aunt had a place school in Guyana. Her name was Dr. Ruby Branch. And when she migrated here, she worked at Lenox Hill Hospital as the head nurse. And when my aunt retired from Lenox Hill, David Dinkins, the first black mayor, made her in charge of the nursing program of the 5 boroughs of New York City. She was that until the day she died. And where she came from? Guyana.
Correct.
Here in the diaspora, a lot of the success stories, when you get to the root of it, where do the people come from? Guyana. Why are you tampering with the lives of young minds? Young, fragile minds. 2 things this week got to me. When I saw the teacher with his placard, he says he eats ramen in every shape and form. He eats ramen is mince, beef, egg, shrimp, you name it, he eats ramen. And when I saw the children walk from Leopold Street to the ministry to go and look for their teacher. Priya, what does that tell you, Priya? Priya, you know I got an answer for you, but I don't want to answer you today on this live. I'm going to tell you woman to woman, face to face. As there's always said, there's a time and place for everything. Right now, I fight for my teachers to go back in the classroom because the children need it. All 6 races. All 6 races. This is not about one race. It's about all 6 races need to go back in their classrooms. They're missing their sirs and they're missing their teachers. All the children missing the teachers. They want to go and the teachers are missing their children.
You know, sure.
It can't get no better than that.
Sure, you know, teachers, it's hard to get teachers to divert from their normal everyday rituals because they are such people-centric individuals.
Yes.
You know, I'm telling you, those teachers are out there holding those placards. They're out there fighting for their rights, but they are struggling. It's a struggle because they're not accustomed to that. They're accustomed being in their classroom, edifying their students, and preparing their students to the next level. But sure, you know, this all ties back to the PPPC. We know that this installed regime is not about education, hence the reasoning behind the University of Guyana.
Wait a minute. If this regime is not all about education, how this regime got so much doctor and doctor and doctor and doctor and doctor? So there's doctor.
Well, listen, all these doctors showing
The doctor.
we need to vet these people. All right, these people are not properly vetted. I know in Guyana people say, oh, the politicians, but I beg to differ that these guys are not politicians. They're just a set of gangsters in place to put fear in the Guyanese people. They're doing an excellent job mismanaging all the assets of the country, mismanaging our oil, among so many other things. So
My thing is, why the children? Why are you hurting the children? First of all, how could you look at a teacher and write off every month $600 US? What?
Look, Shoy, let's break down Barry Jagdeo for a quick minute. Barry Jagdeo think that he is the past, he is the present, and he is the future of Guyana. So where does the children of Guyana fit in, or the adults, or the young people, or the middle-aged, or even the older folks? Where do they fit in to anything when it comes to Guyana? Barry Jagdeo does it best. No. Let me finish this one, Shoy. Barry Jagdeo does his best to dismiss the accomplishments of Lyndon Thompson-Bornum. He does his best to do that. He tries his utmost best to do that when he cannot even put his feet in the rubber slippers that LFS Bornum, would have worn in his time.
I don't know why he does that.
People have got to step up to the plate, man. We got to stop Shoy settling for low standards in Guyana, because that's what Barry Jagdeo is. Hence the Vice News video with him in the corner in his house in the dark trying to make the big deal with Sue. This man should be in jail. This man should be behind bars.
You won't get an argument with me.
Right? The judiciary in Guyana is a failure to the people also. It's a total failure to the people also when they're going to allow a police officer from Guyana who doesn't have the right to fly over into this country to say that he's serving people. I'm not going into that, but I'm just saying the judiciary is a failure to the people in Guyana. There's no law and order in Guyana. And whenever there's a new government in place, I don't know what can be done. But that DPP, with all that sweeping powers, that need to change. That need to change. This is not colonial times. We are in the 24th century. And we need to act like we are. This barbaric action by the PPPC gotta stop. They talk about police and soldiers kicking down door and raping people and all of that. Well, here, they kicked down our in Boston door and shot him in his bed and kill him. Boom, execute him just like that. Kill Peter Headley. 20 beautiful children born up in a grilled up dorm in Madio.
But when
that happened under this government. Harry Paul ill-treated. What can they say? What can they talk about?
But Wayne, you're not saying it's right. What about the Henry boys that was mutilated?
The Henry boys, Courtney Crum Ewing, Ronald Waddle, all those state-ordered executions. Come on, who we talking about here? Come on, PPPC, come on. You guys ain't got nothing that you can say. And this is what the Guyanese people are going to be reminded of. I will
the lawless behavior.
Election time.
The lawless behavior.
Must not be forgotten.
But when these people were reminded that in 2020. Hold on, Wayne.
Okay, go for it.
Let's go back. These people were reminded all of those atrocities before the Henry boys were mutilated. And did that stop them? No.
Let me
They
call
still
another
did
name.
what
Let me
they
call
still
another name because it's up there. Shaka Blair. We're not
okay.
forgetting. We're not
Okay.
forgetting. Listen,
All right.
all these individuals that we would have called their names, you know where they come from? They come from a woman who they call their mother. So Irfan Ali, when you want to talk, come out and say, but you got women at heart. Please, guy, get out of here with that nonsense. You got mothers that are suffering, that ain't got proper closure to the death of their children. So
That's
many
right.
young black
That's
men
right. That's
disappeared
right.
when Barry Jagdeo was at the
Right.
Hemming Guyana, and people are
That's right.
talking. That don't go away. It never
That's
goes
right.
away.
That's
It
right.
never goes away.
We got
And
a
you talk,
prime example.
talking about
Look at the
Donna
Henry.
Ford.
Look at the Henry boys' mothers. Both of the mothers grieved to death. Both.
Yes, the PPPC murdered them. They murdered
Yeah.
them by not solving the crimes of their kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes, they did. This regime, this installed government is lawless in every sense of the word. Lawless. There's no other word for these people. They're lawless. But what this man or this it failed to realize, if it wasn't for Barnum, he could not be sitting in the position that he is sitting in. Because of Barnum, he acquired higher education for free. Because of Barnum. The same man that he despised. But you know, it's funny how he despised Barnum, but he does the same things Barnum do. But he wants to twist it and spin it and act like he did it, but it's Barnum. I see you. And I know it's Barnum that did it. But you want to take credit for it. Barnum got you sitting where you sitting. Not Chetty. Barnum.
The honorable, late great.
The attorney general. The attorney general. How you think he become the attorney general? That he could steal the law books. Barnum. Barnum.
We would never see another visionary like Lyndon Forbes Sampson Barnum. What a man.
No.
What a man.
No.
Again, guys, feel free to call in our call-in number 347-228-7115. Sure, I have a few voice messages. People call in and left messages, so just
let's play them.
Talk.
Sure.
You know, in 2018, the same people in government now, in 2018, they were supporting the same strike with the same Coretta McDonald when she was striking against the previous government concerning the same salary issues and other benefits. Mr. Ali and Jagdeo was supporting them during the strike time. There was no politics. There's nobody going to get caught. There's nobody going to be vindictive and anything. For against it now. No, the strike is illegal and all collecting them bringing up now due to this strike. So you see the differences? You understand me? Everything was good for them, but was bad for everybody else. So the person wanted that what happened in 2018 was something to them. You understand? Whatever them say, it was very dictative government they say. They were still doing no way possible. You understand? So you understand how a president was opposition in 2018. You understand? He promised 50% and now in government and he see that he forget what he was promised in 2018. So he in government or in power now. So you're concerned because the teacher is very affected because of the parents because the parents have to go to home or they help pay people to look after the children, the minibus and the taxis that always take us to school, get at work because they're getting nobody to carry. You understand me? And then when you go to the shop, everything you're paying tax. When you go to the shop, you pay now, you broke tomorrow. Or you have to save it. And if you're smart, you try to buy, smart, you never buy enough because some people also to buy bulk thing. Cannot buy bulk thing because the money can't do it, can't reach. You understand me? It's easy, it's rough. You understand me? It's easy, it's take down your money, it's rough. You understand me? That money the teacher cannot pay because there's something. Some of them teachers I can for a fact. You understand me? Our parents are for a fact. That I know that teachers, you understand, just cut their lunch. You understand, and give to children. You understand, give them money for one to one. My daughter, sometimes when I get shit money, but the money might even do. You understand? She said, Miss, give me $100, I said, hey man, there's a second one. Because at the end of the day, the teachers spend more time with the children. The teacher didn't know the children more than you because when you got to work on the morning, something go back till night, how much you can do to the children. So it's very hard. So I think the government need to consider and go to the bargaining table and deal with the teachers' union. deal with the people and the people can get come to some sort of conclusion so the people can get the money to they can resume work so they can teach the nascent children because we already don't get some children done their way back behind things. So now we allow this happen for them. So what are we going? What are we doing? Because it doesn't, the government and the day and the Ministry of Education doesn't concern about people welfare, just concern about itself and its cronies. So I think the teachers continue strict and the parents, I feel that everybody should come out and take this road. Come out and take this right. And the government understand people is serious. This is dictatorship, man. I think it's serious that people should come out and everybody should blast it straight now.
All right, so Shoy, that was a little bit fast, but I got the point that the call is making. Now let me just end off where he quoted in the end by saying that this is a dictatorship. I listen.
Yep.
I cannot sit down here and doubt what he's saying.
I'm not arguing with him. He's never gonna argument for me. He's right. I agree with everything he said.
Yeah, he also spoke, and this is something that we would have touched on before. He also spoke about the teacher being the second mother. You know, he gave his child money for lunch, but the money was not enough. So the teacher had to chip in $100 out of her pocket to give that child a proper lunch that could satisfy that child. And that's something that we are seeing through and through in Guyana. And I am going to have on a few individuals from Linden because I was listening into the guys from Linden. And they are starting everything from the grassroots in the community, raising up their children. You understand me? Raising their children up in the grassroots where everybody's helping each other. And this is what, listen, when your back is against the wall, sure.
Yep.
You need everyone to come forward. We have a call coming in, Shoy. Good evening. Welcome to Over to You. I am doing fine. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, man, I got two things to say. First of all,
yes,
nothing in Guyana is democratic. Nothing is democratic.
I believe my brother.
Yes, we agree with you, sir.
We agree. I agree.
The problem with Guyana is the Guyanese people's mindset is stuck.
Charles,
they have not been opened up to the world of democracy. So what they know, that's what the people see feeding them, that's what it did.
What they talking on.
Charles, I totally agree with that statement.
He's not gonna get an argument from me.
I would have think over those 23 years of the PPPC being in power, the people was conditioned. They were conditioned this way, and it's gonna take quite a bit of work to change that, and we are on it. Keep going, Charles.
This is the thing. When the APNU went in 2015, see, people expected to be a big change. You don't change 28, 23 years in 4 years.
Agree.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
But see, the people have been brainwashed to thinking, well, they should have done this, they should have done that. And in those 3 years, they had no confidence vote.
Right. In the 3.5 years, right? Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
That's right.
I would say 3 full years, maybe.
True. True.
The people has been so
Hoodwink.
in their thinking that they couldn't see. See, progress takes time. Guyanese don't have patience.
So, say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
And you see what they've been accustomed to, the drugs and the everything, that was fast money. That's what certain part of society was looking for.
Right. Right.
So when you start to weed that out, what's the thing going to happen?
The economy is going to disappear. Right. The economy is going to go to being basically a bear market economy.
Exactly. Right. And what the APNU did, they took Guyana off of the blacklist.
Correct. Keep going, sir. Keep going.
Yes.
It don't come easy. That takes a whole lot.
Yep.
So the PPP, when they got out of office, they were already planning the next move. And they got Trump involved in it. They were waiting on that. They got their hand.
Mm-hmm.
And Granger couldn't do nothing.
Right.
Unfortunately, I don't mean he couldn't do any. I don't know what his situation was, but you know, when the U.S. put their mind on something, they're gonna get what they want. They're gonna find a way. And the only people they can have to get their way was with the PPP, Jack Bill, because he was already corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
More corrupt with more corruption. You're corrupt already.
Mm-hmm.
And corruption breed corruption. Everybody in the PPP is corrupt.
Can't argue that.
They know.
You won't get an argument from me.
The only way they know is that way.
That's the only way. That's the only.
First of all, Ghana should be having debates in the election. One. But you know why they won't have it? The people can demand it, but the people are so complicit, they ain't gonna have it.
This is good. This is good. Keep going.
No, I mean, let me tell you something. I've been in the States for like over 30 years. When I left Guyana, I was young. But when I came here, my mind opened up to a lot of things.
True. Yes.
It
happened.
Everything here is right. I'm not saying that. But politically, you can learn from the system.
Well, one of the things we can say about here, right? There's a lot of opportunity, right? You would agree on that, right?
Of course.
All right, there you go. And Guyana, there's no opportunity for people, man. Everything is political.
Right, but that is why the PPP keeps it that way. Because it's beneficial to them.
Amen.
You're keeping those people down, his fan base, uneducated for a reason. They're not looking outside of the box. They're stuck in that box.
Yep, they've totally lost their ability to think outside of the box. It has been taken away from them.
With this new future, they ain't going nowhere. And Jack Dio, he's gonna. Let me tell you something. What's gonna happen? Guyana gonna get in a real revolution. I mean, I'm not talking about, revolution like that. A mind revolution gotta happen in Guyana.
Oh, so basically, you're saying a mental revolution.
Oh yeah. If the Guyanese had given Granger 4 years, Guyana been on a different path. Financially,
Emotionally.
spiritually, and educationally. See, we have been, like I said, man, Guyanese are still programmed. And you look at people running around talking blah, 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 blah in Guyana. They have a platform to do the right thing, but they have been incensed in corruption too, that they can't even put out any better example. Because Guyanese are living for themselves. They're not living for the next generation. And the generation after the generation. In Guyana, it's just about now. Right now. That's it.
And
what I can get, what I can do now.
Your point is well taken. This is the exact reason why they're attacking the Natural Resource Fund to execute, pulling everything out of it. Nothing left for tomorrow.
What Granger they did. They came in.
Yes, they did. Change the rules. Yes.
And they also put rules in place also that when they mismanage the resources and all these things, they must
They're not to be penalized.
Parliament don't make no difference. First of all, Ghana got to change the constitution. That's dumb.
Amen. Amen.
Without a changed constitution, ain't nothing gonna go right.
It needs to be revised. You know, overall, when you look at the entire body of the Constitution, yes, it's a good place to start, but we need
I've been saying that.
some constitutional reform. I agree with you on that.
It's been left
Yeah.
behind because the times change. Because back in the day, back politically, the Constitution used to serve the party that's in power. A lot of the things that came out in the Constitution was for the person in power. Okay? They still got some good things in the Constitution, but some of the things has to be revised. It has to be changed.
And I could not agree with you more, especially when it
And some things need to be reworded.
comes to this oil find. Especially when it comes to this oil find. Decision on oil should be made by both parties.
Both parties.
Both sides of the aisle.
Because it'll affect all the Guyanese.
Correct.
Of course. Of course.
Ethnic society. I can't understand how we still do politics by ethnicity. I don't understand it. Because at the end of the day, it's not an Indian or a black or a Portuguese or a Chinese everybody gets affected.
Correct. But look, when we look at it overall, right, we see that there is definitely a lack of education.
But that's
right.
That is by purpose.
Mm-hmm. Right. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good. Correct,
Well,
sir.
look at you guys. You guys doing a great job. Mark, I look at Mark all the time. Never can get called in though, but yeah, y'all doing a great job. I would say one thing. We have to stop belittling the opposition. I understand they don't do everything right. Don't get me wrong. A lot of things I think that they should do. But the reason I say we have to stop belittling them, because it gives the PPP ammunition.
Point well taken.
We got to learn. Let me tell you something. We can't do that because we doing divide and conquer on our own the same way the other people doing. So we helping them anyway.
Right. I agree.
It's hard to come together, I understand. But we don't have to put people down in order to make ourselves
look good. Very good. Caller,
we got to get away from crab in a barrel. We got to get away from that.
Excellent points, caller. Thank you so much. We have a few more calls coming in, and please continue to call in.
Washington, she do a great job. Oh, you guys doing a great job, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, Papa. That was some excellent points.
Yeah, that was. I mean, he was right. Everything he said there, he was spot on, and he was right. He was very much right. We do need to have a constitution reform. It's way overdue.
Yes, we do. I'm sure we have another caller. Good evening and welcome to Over to You.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Caesar. Good evening, Shoy, and
good evening.
It's a great program that you guys are having right now. I'm enjoying as I'm watching. And this is all about the teachers tonight. So I want to try to restrict what I'm going to say to the teachers.
Good.
The teachers are very brave. I'm so heartened by their bold step to take a stand. They're really leading by example by coming out there, making that sacrifice to stand up for their rights as teachers. The president has done a disservice to the nation by disrespecting those teachers when he hand-selected a few lackeys that they have control over to negotiate, bypassing the union, the established body that is responsible for contract negotiation. That is a high level of disrespect. So he opened the door to disrespect by doing so. And he was telling the Minister of Education and others in the regime that it's okay to disrespect teachers. So it's no surprise that you have the Minister of Education going on she won't meet with the teachers to discuss increase in wages, but she is on the website making snide remarks and disrespecting the teachers. Let me tell you something, you folks something. These people really can't govern. I'll never forget that in '92, when people were saying the PNC was in government for 28 years, maybe it's time to give another political party, an opportunity to govern. And Desmond Hoyt, Hugh Desmond Hoyt, said these people cannot govern. And my God, wasn't he correct? I mean, from the time these guys took the helm of government, they wrecked Guyana. They just run Guyana into the dust. From the corrupt handling of Barrett Jagdeo, his corrupt, extreme corrupt, racist government that destroyed all the institutions of democracy. From the court system, whatever little democracy Guyana had was totally demolished by Barrett Jagdeo. We have a court that is so broken that if we have judges would have been paid for case docket to disappear in high crime cases. I mean, we had extrajudicial killing at an all-time high and the list goes on. But the bottom line is these people cannot govern, and without constitutional and other guardrails, it's a runaway train. And I believe the Guyanese people are starting to get that kind of awakening that the last caller talked about.
Yes.
That the revolutionary mindset is starting to kick in. And we can't allow this struggle to lose steam. We need to have the public service, Mr. Yard, whoever is in charge must support the teachers and amplify this strike, amplify this struggle, and make it bigger. Exert a sufficient amount of pressure on the government that they will do what is right by the teachers. These guys don't really care about the education of the nation, honestly. The more uneducated the population is better for them to peddle their propaganda. They can brainwash people. Once you don't have that kind of education, they can easily brainwash you. So I'm counting on the teachers to stand up, to continue to stand, and I'm calling on those who are reluctant and those who are afraid. You have nothing to fear. As FDR said to Americans once, you have nothing to fear but fear itself. So
right.
Intimidation by Barrett Jagdeo and his colleagues. These guys are on their back foot. They're soon the history. They can't continue. This kind of governance is unsustainable. It's untenable. And the Guyanese people are awakening to the reality that there's a better world, a better Guyana that can be forged. They are so in the age of social media, the rest of the world is coming to Guyana through social media. But their eyes are opening up. They're understanding that there is better. And one of the other things I would like to talk about when it comes to the teachers is this notion that the government is telling about political, using the word political as a budget. This is an absurdity of the highest degree.
Correct.
A politician telling someone else not to be political. Well, how do you like that? A politician is telling you not to be political.
Well, look what happened in 2018, Colin.
Yes.
Exactly. Colin, you remember the whole PPP clan was out there in 2018, and Coretta was right there with them. So, the pot, as they say, the pot calling the kettle black.
The thing is, let me be clear here. There is absolutely nothing wrong with teachers being what they want to call political. Because the word political, if you examine the meaning of the word, maybe they don't understand what the word political means. It means anything that is pertaining to or concerning the government or affairs of the nation. So when it comes to affairs of the nation, teaching is part of the affairs of the nation. So when you say that teachers are being political, I'm thinking you may be saying that the teachers are black, mostly black, and I think they don't support my party. So when you say they're being political, you're actually saying they're being not of my party, so they don't support me. They're not of my party. And that's totally wrong because teachers have a right. If Guyana was really a democracy, you wouldn't be saying that kind of nonsense because teachers have a right to support or not support a party of their choice.
Of course.
Exactly.
I see teachers bending over leaders in leadership, bending over to say they didn't vote or they don't vote or they don't. In other words, you're trying to convince this government.
Well, you know,
that your politics, you don't have a politics that's not aligned with them, and don't allow that. Do not allow this government to dictate your political affiliation or association or lack thereof. They're a border. They can't do that.
Correct.
You have to come to the table and negotiate, whether you be a PNC, a AFC, or whoever. It doesn't matter. That's your right as a citizen.
Right.
Not only that's your right, that's your business. That's not their business.
It is a personal matter. It is very personal who you vote for and all this type of stuff.
Your religious belief and your political beliefs is your own business. That is no one's business.
One is allowed to have whatever persuasion he wishes to.
Yes.
Let me give you an example. They like to copy from the US when it's convenient. Let me inform those who don't understand. In this country, you have the United Auto Workers Union, which is like the 7th largest union.
UAW, yes, sir.
Right?
Yes. Yep.
Then let me explain to you that the president of this country, he doesn't negotiate. He has nothing to do with contract negotiation or anything like in Guyana. But he is the union endorse whoever they want to endorse, and nobody can condemn them because that's their choice.
Correct.
That's right.
Decide that we will endorse Joe Biden, and that's it.
But Colin, there's a little more to that story. When the UAW decide that they would endorse Joe Biden, Trump attacked the president. But you know what? There's a difference in a democracy, you understand me, as opposed to a dictatorship. That man was allowed to respond to Trump however he so see it fit.
Exactly.
And that's how democracy goes. That is how a democracy operates.
You get to choose.
Correct.
If you like a policy, if the government wants you to like their policy, all they got to do is do right by the people. If you do right by the people, maybe they'll find you. They will like your.
You'll find
policy.
favor, Colin.
You want to do wrong. You want to hurt the people. You got all this oil money spending. You just passed the largest budget in the nation's history, and a budget is a statement of value. What you put in that budget is what you value. You don't value teachers, so you didn't make any kind of preparation for the teacher. You didn't cater for them because you don't care about education.
They didn't value anybody. They didn't value anybody in that budget.
But what they talk about in the budget, one of the things they talk about is transformation. How can a country experience transformation without its human capital being part of that transformation? You know, I don't like to say dons, but these PPPC guys, man, Ashley Singh and these guys, they don't have no sense. Transformation includes your people. Your people have got to grow. Your people have got to be educated.
Wayne. You got to remember Ashley Singh is just the yo-yo in front, but Ashley Singh is not actually the finance minister. Okay? Thank you.
Correct. Throws everything.
Thank you. So that was Ashley Singh's script.
All of them are rubber stamp. That's why when I call them house slaves, some of these people in the party, I call them house slaves, and the ERC send threatening letters and all that thing and all kind of nonsense. So these people, they are just there as window dressing. Everyone reports to Barra Jagdeo. He dictates. I've never seen anything like this where it's like Russia or China where the team leader dictates and everyone just does everything mindlessly.
Well,
they have absolutely no say.
Colin, well, there's something that we touched on, man. That's something when you can get Colin, when you can get diverse perspective in relation to one common goal, which is the success of Guyana. You understand me? You cannot ask for better than that. But when you have one man at the helm dictating with one pea brain walking all the time, how can a country move forward? These ministers and Irfanali and all of them in the PPPC, these guys are a set of stooges. That allow one man to dictate to you guys. You guys don't deserve to be in government. And the people who vote PPPC are not thinking people. You have to think. You cannot have one man.
Okay, Colin. All right, Colin and Wayne, how could these people think when it's already doctrinated in their head, this is the way to go and there's no other way to go? Because Yassa says so. Massa says so.
Yeah, the thing is, you're right, Troy. You know, when I look at the whole thing, I realize that.
Look at 2020. Look at 2020. Look at what he said. He said in 2020 when he went to where was that? That wasn't Belladrum. When he said Babu John, when he said when they come, chase them, slap them. How could you tell him to do that? Are you nuts? I wish I would go in Babu John and somebody put the hand on me. You telling me in 2024 I can't put my foot in Babu John?
Colin, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your contribution. We have another call coming in. Thank you very much, Colin. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Yep. All right.
Please don't get me started. Don't get me started on that one. That one is getting me hot.
Well, you see, Barra Jagdeo is allowed to spew,
nonsense. Yes. A bunch of propaganda and nonsense. And until these people get to the point where they're going to manage him and let him know, listen to me. I am my own individual and I do what I want to do. It will never stop. It will never stop. Look at Brian Max. Brian Max decided he gonna start talking out. Look what they did to Brian Max.
That's yes. That was very, very, it was interesting what happened there with Brian Max. There's no way that they can deny what happened to him. And then besides, Malcolm Harry Paul, he just execute his democratic right by speaking out.
Exactly.
And Malcolm Harry Paul was making was so valid in nature. And
it was not rude. It was not disrespect. It was a open, general, free speech. I don't even think these people know what free speech is. And it's sad. It's sad. And it's shameful because imagine they waste these teachers' time. They sat in these classes and waste these educators' time.
Troy, when we look at what's happening to our teachers and what's happening to Guyanese across the board, because all Guyanese are experiencing the same thing.
Financial hardship.
Right. We have seen the budget. We see that the budget had absolutely nothing for the people. How could that happen? Only God in heavens know. But yet, the government sits down and they talk about transformation.
They
And
talk
I
about
want to say this,
transformation. I don't get it.
I want to say this, Joy. I am very, very concerned with where Guyana is going. Because I was going through, what was I going through? I was going through Bloomberg. I'm not registered with Bloomberg. You know, Wall Street Journal and these other things, I am registered. I'm not registered with Bloomberg, though. And I saw an article showing. The article was on the fastest growing economy in the world, Guyana. I'll be honest, I didn't get to go through the entire article and get a good read on it. But for the little that I would have skimmed through, I would have seen that this article that Bloomberg had up there was very, very, I have to go through it better, but it was very biased in favor of the PPC. It did not mention a lot of the things that is happening to the people on the ground in Guyana. This is why it is so very important that the electorate in Guyana make their voices heard. Because when your voice is not heard, when you don't have countrywide protests, there's nobody in the exterior world who is looking into what's happening, the atrocities that is happening across Guyana. Right. That is why it's important when you go out there and you're protesting for a new voters list. People must show up in their numbers, because without a proper voters list, without the GCOM apparatus working correctly, without GCOM being, voter ready or ready for elections ready come 2025, we can see a major hiccup. I know an earlier caller, was saying, don't hit the opposition too hard. I'm not going to hit them, but I'm going to remind them. You have a constituency. You have a constituency to serve. It is your responsibility to get out there and make sure that the electoral apparatus in Guyana is efficient and it is ready. The list is in order. That is your job. That is one of your mandates to the people of Guyana. So these are some of the things that we need to make sure that is in place, because Barry Jagdeo is calling all the shots. You don't know if this guy would, because GCOM is not saying anything. Barry Jagdeo could come out at any time and say, hey, we're having elections. As soon as he see a soft spot in the opposition, or the opposition go to, let's say they have their Congress and there's a little shake up when the opposition have their Congress, he can take that and use it to the advantage of the PPPC. So to the opposition, I would say you have to be ready, stay ready, be proactive and not reactive.
Well, at
you got anything else you want to add?
Well, at this point, there's nothing more that we can see. We have to be really ready. The teachers taught us something new. The teachers brought it to the forefront. There's no more time to waste. We got to be ready, and we got to be ready to go. I don't care what nobody say. The teachers are the leaders, and they're leading us. Believe it or not, as much as they say it's not political, they're leading us to the fight. And I thank them. And I'm pleading with parents, please come out. Even if it's 10, 15 minutes. Please come and support your teachers. Please come out and support your teacher. Children, come out, support your teacher. Better days are ahead. Nothing good comes easy. And my teacher taught me that. Okay?
Sure,
When
you
I'm
know,
talking as a parent, a PTA president, vice president, and I sat on my son's school boards. Please come out and support our teachers and teachers. 1, 2, 5, 6, Money 4, all of I stand in solidarity with you guys. I stand in solidarity with you guys. All the way. Don't give up. Because that's what they want.
I could not agree with you more. I know and I'm confident that the entire diaspora is standing in with those teachers. You know, teachers are so valuable. So you're not standing in vain for the teachers. And I am confident that this protest action by the teachers is going to continue, rightfully so. It should grow larger. The Guyana Trade Union Congress, its president, Mr. Witter, General Secretary, Mr. Lincoln Lewis.
He was out there.
These
Miss
people
Lewis
are
was out
all
there.
involved. These people are all involved. And I can assure you that they have a plan. They have a plan. They have a strategy. And Shoy, I would agree with you 100%. Parents, get yourselves and get your children ready to go there on that picket line with those teachers. Some people might say, why take the children? This is a good experience for children. They will learn from this. They will learn so that they would not make the same mistake.
It is.
They would learn how important it is to vote and vote correctly. You can't vote for gangsters. You got to vote for people who have an appetite to serve you. You got to vote for people who have ethics, people who have love, people who have a conscience.
You know what I learned this week with the teachers in Guyana and compared to the teachers here in the diaspora? I remember my first day of high school. I went in my science class and I met my science teacher. And she said this thing. She said, with you or without you, I'm going to get paid. And I'm going to do what I have to do. I have my master's. I have my bachelor's and I have my master's degree. And most of you in here, by time the 4 years, I'm not going to see you guys. And I was like, what is this woman's talking about? How rude can this woman possibly be? And I'll never forget my graduation day. She came to me and she congratulated me. And I looked at this woman like she was really weird. And she said, I know why you're looking at me. She said, you remember what I said the first day of school? And I said, yes. She said, believe it or not, I wasn't speaking to you. I was speaking to the others in your class. She said, today you graduate. How many of them are with you? And you know what, Wayne? She was right. Not many of them were with me. The teachers in Guyana, the complexion I see from the teacher, from every level, grade level, I saw for the past 10 days. Pay no money.
Okay, we may have lost Shoy there for a moment.
You can't pay any money for that. I wish we can have that here. Here in New York City, It's simple, and you know that one. If you don't pay attention to your kids, the teachers are not going to pay attention to your children. And you know here, it depends on which school your child goes to. That's the level of attention they pay to your child here. That's not what I saw there. They don't care what the child is. They want to go back to their children. So parents, come out. Support the teachers. Put on them uniforms. And let those children come out and stand in solidarity with their teachers. Because the teachers fighting for them too. It's not only the pay, they're fighting for them too to have proper conditions.
You know, Shoy, I want to say something. It would be in the PPPC's best interest because we are going to be going into the third week here, and Monday is going to be day 11.
Yes.
It would be in the PPPC's best interest to come to the table with the Guyana Teachers Union and do this collective bargaining, agreement and clear this thing up. Why I say this, Shoy, I caution the PPPC on this because I am of the belief that the Guyanese people are going to come out in their numbers if this continue, because minibus drivers, vendors, everybody this is going to affect. They're going to come out in their numbers. The country is going to shut down. And if it is, Shoy, let me finish this. If the PPPC allows Guyana to be shut down, I would say to all unions and all parties involved, do not negotiate with them. Call for new elections. Call for new elections immediately. Because the government is inept and they're a failure, and Guyana cannot continue to exist under such conditions.
Canada need to live under these oppressions. You have a first lady. She's a mother of 2 children. You can't talk sense to your husband. He playing the leader of the country. You can't talk sense to him and tell him what he's doing is wrong and put some sense into his head and tell him, come and sit down and speak to these people and spewing the nonsense he got into them in 2027. You know what's this going to happen to people in 2027? Huh? Oh no, I'm sorry. You too busy doing your flower pedicure in China. I got your number. I don't understand you people. You are the first lady. You're supposed to be the first lady of the nation. These are your children. When you are the first lady, these children are yours and the children of the nation. How could you stand there and watch these children suffering, not getting their education, and you fighting it because they're not actually yours? Well, you're not no first lady.
All right, Shoy, we're coming down to the end. We're coming down to program time here. I want to really, really thank all our listeners and viewers for tuning in this evening. I thought that our callers were very, very
They were on point. I appreciate them a lot.
Questions were edifying. And Shoy, thank you for coming on with me.
No problem.
As we look to close off your closing remarks, can you please give a few words of encouragement to the Guyanese people as you close, ma'am?
Priya, as they say, you are the so-called Minister of Education. Do the right thing. Call the teachers union and go in to arbitration. Get the nation finance off the streets and put them where they belong, with their children. They want their children and their children want them. If you are a proper minister of education and not a child and acting like a child, do what the job says for you to do. And that's what the job says for you to do. To my teacher, don't stop. Continue doing what you're doing. I know it's hard. It's not easy. But there are better days ahead. Nothing good comes easy. As the great Dr. King said, there's some long days, longevity, but we got to stand firm for what we believe. And you guys believe that you are worth more than what you are getting. And we believe you are worth more than what you are getting. And stand your ground. And continue to stand your ground. And don't change it for nothing or no one. Parents, come out. Support our teachers. Come out with your children. Put on the uniforms. And come out and support our teachers. Please come out and support in every region. This is not an Afro-Ghanaian thing. This is not a Indo-Ghanaian thing. This is all 6 races. We're all in this together. Without the teachers, it would be none of us. We can't do nothing without our teachers. We need our teachers. God bless our teachers. And if anybody is threatening the teachers, please automatically go live. Please pull out your phone and go live. Record them. Let us see. Let the world see what they're doing to you, how they're trying to victimize you. Please.
Thank you so much, Shoy. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
To all our listeners and viewers, I want to once again thank you for joining the program this evening. To the people on the ground in Guyana, continue to hold your heads up. Support our teachers. Support this cause. This is a very important cause. If the government does not come to the table very soon, the whole trajectory of this strike can change. So let's continue to hold our heads up. The fight continues. We will not again, we will not stop and allow our country to not be a democratic country in nature. We will not stop until the Guyanese people moves away from poverty and move to a good place of prosperity where people can live, number one, peacefully, and they must be financially, in a decent position. We want that for all Guyanese. And that is what government should be looking at, and that is what government should want for all their citizens. Unfortunately, at the present moment, the installed regime that sits in place in Guyana does not care about the well-being of the Guyanese people. Hence, we will be removing them as you guys will place your index finger next to that palm tree and have this install regime once and for all removed. Actually, I know you said that you're here to take revenge. And when you use a word like revenge, you know, you don't even have to show me who is talking. But once I hear words like revenge, they're those type of Donald Trump type of words, I know it have to be someone in the PPPC who would be talking about revenge. But Guyana belongs to the people of Guyana, and the people of Guyana are going to demonstrate their democratic right come 2025 or whenever elections is held. Until then, I say so long to everyone. I'll see you guys either on Straight Up next week or back here next Saturday for another program. You guys stay safe in all that you do. Stay safe and continue to pray for our great little country, the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Thank you so much, Joy.
Thank you, Wayne.
You're welcome. While I'm here,